Let's talk about your background. So you grew up in North Carolina, but
Yes.
your grandfather immigrated from Lebanon, is that
Correct.
right? But why did he go to North Carolina? Was there a big Lebanese community there, or did he intend to go to another place?
There was a big Lebanese community in South Carolina, and he was going to go to Marion, South Carolina, when he got off Ellis Island, and he ended up in Marion, North Carolina. He stayed the night in the train depot. No one came to pick him up. So finally, a conductor said, pulled him on the train and took him to Charlotte, North Carolina on that train. And there was a Arabic family around a coffee shop at the train station. And they talked about the mix-up. They gave him a job. He started washing dishes. Then he became a peddler. Then he went back and got the rest of his family. And they had made enough money to get a wagon. And they went in the countryside selling cloth, sewing materials, shoes, stuff like that. And then that evolved into John Mack and Sons. John Mack was my grandfather's name. And it was a clothing department store. And my father, who was an entrepreneur, decided he wanted to be totally on his own. And he started a wholesale grocery business.
And so they wanted you to go in that business at some point?
I don't think my father did. My mother was a very strong force. She only wanted to be a doctor. And I really didn't want to be a doctor. My father was laid back, and my mother was really aggressive. It was a great combination.
So you were a high school football star?
Well, I don't know about a star, but I was a good football player.
I thought you were
yes.
All-State. That's
I was.
pretty good.
All right, All-State. You've done your homework.
Okay, so All-State. So you get a scholarship to Duke University to play
Correct.
football. And what happened to your career at Duke?
Well, I thought I was a good football player until I got to Duke. They have some great players. And then in my sophomore year, I was a redshirt for 1 year. Then I was on like the second team, but I broke C6 in my neck. I cracked it. And what happened, every time I would tackle someone, my left arm and side would go dead. So Frank Bassett, who's one of the orthopedic surgeons who used to be at Duke, called the AD and said, this young man's football career is over. He has a bona fide injury. He cannot play football any longer. So that ended my football career. But once you're on scholarship, I still had to work there. So I was a manager, getting towels and setting up trips when they go play, one of the teams in Florida or one of the teams in the Big Ten.
So when you graduated, did you say, I want to go to Wall Street and be the CEO of Morgan Stanley?
No, when I graduated, I needed one course to finish Duke University. My scholarship had expired. So I got a job in a local brokerage firm called First Securities in North Carolina. So that got me involved in the securities business. And there was a lady there named Fannie Mitchell, and maybe you remember, she ran the job placement office at Duke University. So when the recruiters would come down, she would say, there's one guy you got to meet, it's John Mack. And I would meet these recruiters and got a number of job offers. And then I decided that I liked the securities business. Smith Barney wanted to open an office at that time in Atlanta. They offered me a job and I took it.